What? You expecting another elaborate plot with a bunch of fun, trashy, though somewhat well-made skits thrown in? Nah, not this time. This time, my wonderful lads and lassies, this is gonna be a short review. Oh, fuck. As their contract with Universal expired, unfortunately Naughty Dog would no longer be able to continue making more new Crash games, and thus the IP was handed over to a new developer, in the face of Eurocom Entertainment. Being new to the series, they decided not to try their hands at the classic formula, probably out of fear of failure, or perhaps because Universal wanted to save the next mainline release for the next generation of consoles. Either way, Eurocom decided to do another spin-off, this time a party game, in the face of Crash Bash. And did Eurocom succeed? Hell no! Well, okay, I'm being kind of rude. Some of the minigames are actually decently fun if you're playing it as a party game with someone else. But, since this game also, much like Crash Team Racing before it, has an adventure mode, you know, the primary story mode, let's discuss that first. Much like CTR, Crash Bash offers you a choice between 8 playable characters. However, this time they're split into 2 teams, one representing Aku Aku and the other Uka Uka. And of course, I'm picking my boy Tiny Tiger. And the grandiose plot this time around starts off inside of an ancient temple floating through space. Not gonna lie, quite intriguing and pretty cool so far. Inside, Aku Aku and Uka Uka are having a deeply thought-provoking argument about the nature of good and evil. No, they're just having a petty squabble like children over who's stronger. And just like how most conflicts between children in real life end with one trying to bash the other's skull in, Uka Uka attempts to do so to his brother. But he's stopped in his tracks by Aku Aku pulling this bit of lore out of his ass.
No, Uka Uka. The ancients would not allow it. There can be no malice between us.
You know, going back to the kids fighting comparison, this really reminds me of one of those kids from the playground who would always say,
"Oh no, you can't hit me. I have super duper magic armor."
Oh, I hated them as a kid. So in order to resolve their personal dispute, our powerful Tiki Masks challenge their own followers to a series of gladiatorial feats of strength. And that's how we get Crash Bash. 2 nigh omnipotent gods forcing mortals to fight for their amusement. But given that the selected roster does not have an equal split between heroes and villains, Uka Uka is forced to give Aku Aku's team 2 of his own challengers. That being Tiny Tiger and Dingo Dial. Why the developers didn't think to fill out the Bandicoot team roster with Polar and Pura is beyond me. Well, since the game already has a minigame dedicated to riding atop of polar bear cubs, I suppose it would be weird having Polar ride atop of one of his own brethren, though it would have been funny. The adventure mode this time around, unlike that of CTR, is structured in a very similar way to Crash 2 and Crash 3's Warp Rooms, something I actually really like. And the level, or should I say minigame selection in this game, ranges from Pong, but 3D and with 4 players, trying to push each other off of a platform while riding polar bears, pogo jumping, simply beating the shit out of your opponents, which is the one good minigame type in this entire game, Fight Me, committing heinous war crimes while driving tanks, The most piss-poor mid attempt at a racing minigame imaginable, and Medieval Mayhem, the only minigame genre inside of which each separate minigame actually drastically differs from one another. Similarly to Crash Team Racing, the primary collectible in the adventure mode is trophies. However, unlike Crash Team Racing, not only do you not get a trophy after winning the game once, no, you gotta win each minigame 3 times, no, not the best out of 3 times exactly, while competing against the 3 other characters who are also trying to win 3 times exactly. So you could end up with a scenario where everyone has 2 out of the 3 wins and the final score is what makes the game. But also there are other collectibles that, unlike Crash Team Racing, after a while become mandatory for progression. And these optional collectibles, as you might have guessed, will have you replaying the same minigames again, sometimes with a slightly different coat of paint, but with an additional hindrance to you, or a time limit, or sometimes both. And luckily, at least unlike the trophies, when earning gems and crystals, you only need to win once. But when going for the relics, you gotta go through the same bullshit rigmarole like with trophies of winning 2 times for the golden relics or 3 times for the platinum ones. Except, unlike the trophies, there actually is a little bit more bullshittery here, because you gotta secure those 2 or 3 victories consecutively. Well, at least I got another bottle. Oh, and the enemy AI in this game is just straight up evil. Eurocom Entertainment Software designed them to be the most ruthless gangbangy bunch of motherfuckers imaginable.
Fight back! Fight back!
This game does also feature bosses, but they're all kind of meh. Each boss utilizes one of the core minigames. In Papu Papu's case, it's Crate Crush. With Bearminator, it's Polar Push. With the Komodo Brothers, it's Tank Wars. And in the case of Oxide, whom you chase down to what I assume is Gasmoxia, it's the 3D Pong of all things. But why even suffer through the process of completion, you may ask? Why even bother with adventure mode? Can't you just play it like a normal party game with a friend or 3 and just enjoy the dumb fun minigames? Well, no. Because most minigames are in fact locked behind completing the adventure mode. So unlike Crash Team Racing, where most tracks and all extra game modes are available right off the bat for you to have fun with alone or with friends, Crash Bash makes you work for it, having to suffer through this alcoholism-inducing bullshit. At the very least, you could have given some good tunes for the player to listen to while they're being totally rammed. Oh, but no. Even the soundtrack in this game is absolutely piss weak. In conclusion, Crash Bash is an absolutely padded, drawn-out slog of an experience. All of it. From the sheer skullduggery of its enemy AI, to the bullshit progression system, and especially the fact that for some reason I decided to go for the full completion for this review, which set it back almost 2 weeks. All of it is a goddamn bad joke. And the worst part is that it's not even that offensively terrible. It's not bad enough to be ironically good. It is just painfully, insufferably mediocre. Well, and it is actually pretty bad. Like, it's not terrible, but it's pretty bad. So with that said, Crash Bash gets 5 out of 10. And I will take a broken, absolutely busted, but hilariously funny 2 out of 10 game any day of the week over this heap of trash. Until next time, my wonderful lads, lassies, and everyone in between. Take care, and happy April Fools!